and
introduce
you can introduce me, yeah? No problem, yes.
All right, asante sana. So Dr. Susan Gitau is a popular counseling psychologist and trauma healing specialist. She lectures at Africa Nazarene University. And in 2014, she founded the Susan Gitau Counseling Foundation, providing trauma-informed care and community outreach in Kiambu and Murang'a. And I hope you will tell us a little bit more about that. She's a frequent speaker on Kenyan TV channels, and she raises mental health awareness through media engagements. Dr. Susan champions resilience, inner strength, and holistic well-being. And as PAK, we are really privileged to host her in our webinar today. So this is being live streamed. I don't know if it is also being, oh, it's just going straight on YouTube, so we don't need to record, Wangari, I guess. All right. So Dr. Susan, karibu sana. I'm here. You can give me guidance if you'd like me to be part of the engagement, if you'd like me to read anything that comes in, but the floor, the platform is yours. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Karo. Daktari, asante sana. Yes, help me.
All right.
Read. I think we don't have a lot of time, and for sure we should be ending by 7:30, I guess. Because I also have another engagement. I don't know whether I'm visibly clear. So help me with the messages, help me with questions. Yeah, you've also set a very good pace for me because you started with that mindfulness, so I don't need to do that. And engaging counselors and psychologists is always very, very helpful. And maybe I could begin by asking, among the many topics you thought about mindful self-compassion, and you give it a tick. Of course, there were many topics that were presented. And I'm wondering, what is it that you'd like addressed with mindful self-compassion? So that as I begin, because we are all here, one family, and I really like the work you do as positive psychology family in Kenya. Why mindful self-compassion? Yeah.
That's a really good question. I think that one of the reasons we do we have the conversations that we have at Positive Psychology is to demystify a lot of the mental health related information. And so I know that one of the things about self-compassion, I know that a lot of clients and a lot of people who struggle with it is more like, am I just giving myself permission to do whatever I want? You know, what is self-compassion, and what is it really? I mean, how does it look like? How does it play out? Am I getting away with bad manners? Maybe what it is, what it's not, you know, and there's self-compassion, then there's mindful self-compassion. Are they different? Are they the same? So just to demystify and just invite us into a space of maybe some of the techniques and exercises that we can use as we're thinking about that. And why is it important? You know, just shed light into that space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this is a good opportunity for us to, as helpers, probably I'll go very specific to help us, because we need it. Caro, if you remember, the first time mindful self-compassion training was brought to Kenya, I guess we were in the same room way back in 2018. And we didn't actually know what we were getting ourselves into. I think some of us were going for holiday, but we found it's actually a self-care tool. That's the way I look at it. It is a self-care tool that can help you to be more compassionate to yourself. And in return, that also goes out either to your clients, to your colleagues, or to the people around you. And so I took it very seriously, by the way. I don't know how many of you were able to attend the global silent retreat session that we had last Saturday, the whole day from morning to evening. And it's also my desire and prayer that we will have this. I don't know whether Veronica is in the house. We've been planning for it for the longest time. And I believe we will have a big one come next year, early next year. And so as I begin this session, it's important to stay still and ask yourself, as a helper, do you sometimes feel like you don't do this anymore? You don't help anymore? Do you feel like there is still a lot that you need to do for yourself? And what is that? Because as helpers, what would make us come inward? What would make us think about ourselves? And when I mentioned the first Mindful Self-Compassion intensive training that happened in Kenya, led by Chris Gamma and Susan Pollack, they both came from the US and same state. We were shocked how much tension we carry on a daily basis, how much energy we waste trying to fix things our way and even forcing. And it was shocking because for psychologists, for counselors especially, we say that you cannot take a client the far you haven't gone. So you need to walk the journey and then you take the client to the journey. And I personally give my own example and I say it was very difficult for me to breathe in and hold my breath and out through the mouth. And we can even try as we delve into this discussion on mindful self-compassion. Probably you sit upright wherever you are. I don't know whether some people are still in matatu going home. And that is why I think for Africans, it's good to have a physical session on mindful self-compassion. Let's just try taking a slow, deep breath, and you follow what instructions I'm giving. So you breathe in through the nostril and you hold and you can release through the mouth. It's better if you can close your eyes or you lower your gaze if you're uncomfortable closing your eyes. And you can do it again. Breathe in and hold it. And then you can release through the mouth. And notice each time you do it, what happens inside of you. And those who are not muted, kindly mute so that we can have one voice. Okay, let's breathe in again through the nostril and hold and release through the mouth. And placing your hand over your heart or even over your chest. And recalling this journey is a helper. And ask yourself, have I been kind enough to myself? Have I been kind enough to myself as a helper? Caro, I don't know whether you'll be able to concentrate because there's so many people getting in with their mics on. So I just hope you will benefit as the MC and the facilitator, coordinator of this session. So I take you back a little bit. I'm asking yourself, as your hand rests on your chest, ask yourself this question. Am I kind enough to myself as a helper? Am I kind enough to myself as a helper? If I am, in what ways am I kind to myself? If I'm not, in what ways am I not kind to myself? Because of time, you can slowly open your eyes and come back to the room. Come back to the room. Come back. If I were to ask, maybe just a few voices, like, what did you find that can tell you I am kind to myself? So, Carol, the messages you can read, and some just take a few, just a few, like two people. One may be talking about how you are not kind to yourself, and maybe another one, how you try to be kind to yourself as a helper.
And I think we can allow, if you're not able to type, you can also unmute. If there isn't much noise in the background, then you can share as well.
David is saying, of late, I have taken more time for myself. Good. So that's being kind to yourself. Good. Anybody else? Rose says, I'm kind nowadays. I've started to say no sometimes. The ability to say no. Nice. Then Adeli is saying, I usually take rest and reward myself as well. Thank you, Dr. Adeli. Anybody else who is not kind? I have made my boundaries clear. That is Mohoro. That must be Jiwo. Nice. After realizing, probably you've not been kind to yourself. Oh, Jamie says, forgive myself. Yes, yeah. And Ruth says, I'm unkind. Oh, I've missed that one. Someone, Techno, I don't know who you are. It's always good to write your name. I'm trying to be kind. Lorna, oh, nice to meet you, Lorna. Not blaming myself when client is resistant because they can't resist. Yes, people making comments there. I'm very happy. Great. I'm unkind. That is Ruth when I feel guilty after saying no. You say no, and then you feel guilt. Most helpers, that's an area we need to work on. Gidaiga, I try to practice self-care such as meditation. Yes. And then Phyllis, I'm unkind to myself when I carry people's burdens as my own. Imagine. So thank you very much. And you can continue writing messages that can really show that we are understanding what we are saying. And specifically, I have told you mindful self-compassion can be used in many situations. But for this presentation or in this context, we are going to look at us as helpers and ask ourselves, what is mindful self-compassion? What is it? And thank you, Carol, for trying even to guide on unpacking, because there are two words here. There are actually three in one: mindful, and then self, and then compassion. Meaning that in this model or this practice of mindful self-compassion, the word mindful coming from mindfulness. And mindfulness basically means being or staying in the present moment, experiencing yourself in the here and now without judgment. Don't condemn yourself. Like the way some are saying, I feel guilty if I say no to somebody's request, to a client's request, or I feel guilty if the client is resistant and they cannot talk, or you have a quarrel, or you set your boundaries very clear, and then later on you find the other person is very unhappy, and so you feel like, oh, you made a mistake. But now when you accept the status that you are in, you are living in the present moment. And that is sometimes the hardest thing to do. Even in therapy with the client, you find that you cannot accept what you're going through. Sometimes we get anxiety, and you're in therapy with a client, become very anxious. When the more you try to deny and the more you try to fight it so hard, the more it comes out that you actually end up showing how anxious you are. Sometimes we even get angry with clients in therapy room because probably we have counter-transference issues and we have memories that are being provoked or triggered by this client. And probably we do not know how to master staying in that present moment. And so we become probably confused in therapy. We might end up not bonding with the client. And what I have known about a counseling practice is that the clients really feel us. You know, when we embody certain feelings, anger, resentments, bitterness as therapists, we embody that. That is what goes to the client. And so they can feel something is off, even if they don't know what exactly it is. And because I have trained in a whole year in self-compassion in psychotherapy, I came to understand very much this is so true for helpers. And it can leave you very stressed up, exhausted after you're done with the client. It's not the normal, probably doing a lot of client sessions or having a number of them. But it's like what was happening within me in therapy has affected the way I have processed the client, and it has also affected the way I feel after therapy. Of course, the term self is basically we're talking about me. We're talking about me now, the helper in this case, you, the psychologist, you, the HR that could be present here, you, the counselor. It's about me. So when I'm thinking about staying in the present moment, it's not about you, it's about me. And the word compassion basically means it's deeper and stronger than empathy that we are all trained to practice. Basically, empathy means being along the same wavelength with the client, trying to fit in their context, trying to imagine you are in the client's world or shoes. And it's supposed to end there, or it's supposed to help you process the client to the next level. But when you think about compassion, and that's why today I think this is it's one word that every helper or any person of goodwill or anybody who wants to do good to humanity can't leave your mouth, can't leave your life, because it is the aspect of noticing there is suffering, whether it is suffering inside of you or it's suffering in another person. And that includes the clients that we see, and not leaving it there, that there could be that inner desire, very deep desire, that pushes you to want to really alleviate that suffering that client is feeling. And now when it comes to self, yourself, myself, then I need to be aware of this suffering. And suffering is not probably what we commonly know as suffering. It could be that guilt inside of me. It could be the exhaustion, which is our number one source of suffering for helpers. But the compassion is there, that what can I do? I notice this. What can I do to alleviate this suffering that I am going through? And so as I get deeper into this, I like remembering the pioneers of mindful self-compassion and the people who attended. I think I saw, if Margaret is in the house, I saw a few people that attended that silent retreat. It was a virtual one, it was a global one. And Christy Neff set the pace, and she's the lady you see next to Gamma, Caro, if you remember Chris Gamma. Yes, yeah, we are still in touch, and he's not left my life, mentored me thoroughly up to that global platform. And I thank God for what we were able to do actually last Saturday. And it's my prayer all positive psychologists, the mindfulness practitioners, and mindful self-compassion practitioners, we can form a big force, because this is the way to go. Without neuroscience, because mindful self-compassion, mindfulness, positive psychology works a lot with our neurobiology or neuroscience, the practice of neuroplasticity. So the story of Chris Gamma and the story of Christine Neff, because Christine Neff is the one, for her, she had talked of self-compassion. And she actually, we can say she was like the originator of self-compassion in this context of mindful self-compassion. And then Chris Gamma joined in, and they now came up with the model of mindful self-compassion, which has actually taken the whole world by surprise. And I think they are reaching all corners. Caro, I guess in Kenya, we didn't do very well. After training about 55 of us, I think I'm the only one who got converted and really pushed this far. So Christy Neff, suffered a lot with an autistic child until she was left to take care of that child alone. And of course, friends can run away from you. You have such a nuisance child, and you find yourself alone. So suffering, moment of suffering just steps in. But in that suffering, she asked herself, if I had a friend who was suffering like I am doing right now, how would I treat them? And she discovered I would really be kind to them. I would encourage them. That is the action of alleviating suffering in that friend. And she was like, hi, I'm kind to others. I would be kind to my friend. What if I turned this inward? How would it be like? And that is how she came up with the self-compassion. And of late, she has advanced very much. With Chris Gamma, they've actually written a book on how you can cope with helpers fatigue, burnout for us in this case. And I'm very happy for Chris Gamma. Now, the way he looked in this photo is not the way he looks now. And that's me and him and his wife in 2020, February. I went there in 2018 after our training in February in Kenya. Then in 2018, I went there for the teacher training course. And I also joined in one of their retreats, and I saw how they do it. Then 2020, I went back before COVID, and this is Chris and the wife. This is MA in Boston. Very powerful, very humble people. And I guess this is what happens. When I see Chris Gamma, I always think of Professor Selvam. We've worked also a journey together, and the way you're passionate about humanity and compassion to the world. And that brings me to a level of looking at mindful self-compassion and mindfulness as a global practice that does not choose who is who. And I guess we are getting to a space whereby the world has just become a very small village. We just need to know how to work with one another. So when we think about the burnout curve for helpers, I know counseling introduces routine. It's intake, it's process, it's termination. Of course, the same thing. Then sometimes lack of a break. And that's why we need to know, what is it that causes me burnout as a helper? Is it because I don't have enough skills? Because you will get like triple tired. If you're not competent in handling a client in certain situations, you will definitely get tired. When I say this, because in this room we have interns that have joined us from different universities. I have seen some of my students from African University. I have seen them here. And sometimes you find if you don't have the competence, you get tired. I used to get tired while lying. As a beginner, as an intern, I would sleep in therapy, you know? And I am not sleeping because I want to sleep. I think what the client is saying, according to me at that level and my competences, I didn't know I was even making sense. I don't even know whether I was able to probe well. I don't even know whether I was listening well. And so I know I would mess up, but I was honest enough because I really wanted to be good. So I always, in my weekly sessions, I would go and report myself to the supervisor. At some point, she would laugh, and then she would tell me, now, let's see if in a relaxed position, like now, how would you do it differently? Of course, sometimes I would get it right, and sometimes she would add me points and empower me going forward. Sometimes it's boredom. I'm sure as you're looking at me, you're thinking of times you felt like you really bored with stories that clients are giving you. But imagine they came there with those stories because they knew you are the one who is going to listen to them. But there you are, bold, or even bold with the practice. Actually, most counselors or counseling psychologists, they train, they graduate. Not all of them proceed to teaching. I mean, to practice. They want to teach. They want to give talks. They want to organize seminars, probably because of boredom. Sometimes it is stagnation, and I have seen this, and it's very sad, by the way. And it's my prayer that in Kenya we'll try as much as possible to ensure that most therapists do not stagnate. And that is why such seminars, thank you, Positive Psychology Kenya family, because you've really, really like been regular. You've really kept this going. And I really admire what you do, because one of the things as a practitioner that we need to do is to keep growing ourselves. You have to keep learning. I think for me, I have never had enough, and I don't think I will have enough. And it's also good for our brains because it is one way of reducing the it's one way of reducing probably dementia that would come from our brain being stagnated. We have seen people stagnate also in different spaces, like if you started it as an associate therapist, you're there for many years. But I want to imagine in positive psychology now, because we have started in Kenya, we're growing. When you find a group calling themselves positive psychologists, addiction therapists, MFT family, and all that, then you can know we are growing as a world of practitioners in Kenya. Exhaustion is automatic. And I have said some of these can come because of the accumulation of fatigue, and especially our work, where we don't just listen to positive things most of the times, unless when we are asking clients, any progress made? And they say, yeah, these days we quarrel less with my husband. These days, I think I am a better listener than I was before. So, and they're not most of the times what we listen to. We listen to problems. And in psychology, that would be a loss of negative energy. And in mindfulness practice, we also take it in. It's like without your awareness, you're sucking it in. And you have seen that when you're around people with low mood, definitely you tend to embody that. And that's what you carry. And that is why we are told as helpers, anyone who calls themselves a helper anywhere, because we are helping most of the times people who are suffering, they also give us that. And so if I don't have somewhere I am emptying that, then you can bet I'm likely to really experience burnout. Sometimes it's work overload, and especially where we have very many clients. Yeah, some of us have reached a point whereby if the clients are not scheduled for you, you can't even do it for yourself. Or you got into a level whereby your name now is big, and you have all these people saying in a whole center, no, 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 don't give us this person, give us this one. We want this particular person. And it can be exhausting. Some of you who are working in employment where in Kenya, we haven't probably come to a level of understanding who is a counselor, who is a counseling psychologist, and how many hours should they work probably in a week, probably getting there and having no self-care tool. Because I think we are still struggling in Kenya to have very good clinical supervision programs. I can say that without fear or doubt that we are still struggling, because it's easier for us to get money from clients, but it's a bit difficult to give money to be helped or to even become better. If you think about excessive expectations, anywhere you work, if you have very high expectations, oh, my client is going to do better. In 1 month, they are going to be better. Who tells you that? It's their journey. And then you just find nothing is happening. Of course, you go down. Then you work so hard and probably for reward. Like in counseling, if you think somebody is going to tell you, thank you very much, they might somewhere, they might in their own way. And this is where now you have to turn inward and really pat your back for something or a practice or a session or someone you helped. And you're like, yes, I did a good job here. Sometimes you don't see any end in sight. Like I have said, we are in different spaces. There are people who've trained, they have their degrees, they have their papers, but there's no job. There are no clients. And sometimes the ones that are coming to you are now the pro bono ones. So you're like, when will I ever get out of this? Or it could be the work you're doing as a helper. You don't feel appreciated. There is no room for growth and development and promotion. And that can really, really be exhausting. And I think I have seen this quite a lot with my colleagues. Or you're in a space whereby you are forced to be in a dual relationship. Maybe you're the administrator, you're the HR, you're the head of a department, you're the lecturer, and you're also the counselor. And we know probably in a developing nation like Kenya, where you maybe not all have understood. They actually think it's an easy job to listen to somebody's problems. They don't know how hard it is if you have to move them from A to B. I put a red there on mental physical exhaustion, because that is where now the damage begins into our bodies. Because when we're very stressed, as we are going to see, having the cortisol and adrenaline injection into the body or bloodstream, you will find yourself at some point you're very exhausted, but now the body gives way. And so the immunity goes down. So any viral bacterial infection can hit you. Sometimes if it is about the low serotonin and dopamine, mood dysregulation, irritability, lack of pleasure, interest in what you're doing. You don't like your work anymore. Even when people say, "Oh, you were happy, we are doing good. Oh, I met Carol. I met Jua. Oh, you're gonna help me." And you find it's not even making you happy anymore. So you become cynical. Sometimes you feel you are despairing. And we have seen in the world, we have seen helpers take their own lives. I think here in Kenya, we saw one in our county here in Kiambu. And you wonder now, how would a therapist, how would a helper get to that level? And probably if we listen inside of ourselves on a moment to moment basis is, can I be aware of my physical presence, my emotional presence, my social presence, every moment, every hour, so that I am able to pick if there is any red flag, anything that can make me really go down, that I am able to address it before I get there. So self-compassion is not being selfish, it's just checking in and ensuring that you're giving yourself the best first before you give it to others. Then the loss of belief in anything better and you're like, counseling, I stopped practicing. I meet people who tell me that. I meet others who tell me, let me tell you, it's just a headache. And sometimes I'm like, if only they knew the day they got exhausted, they got into burnout. And I have seen this could be the very part of the many reasons why probably they needed a shoulder to lean on, or they needed this kind of a self-care practice. We've seen people collapse. And I pray none of us here is going to collapse because of helping others. And so when you reverse the burnout curve, you can see what happens. You have realistic expectations. You accept that hard work is not the answer. So you're not going to kill yourself trying to outdo anyone or anybody or anything. You also realize that you quit blaming others and taking personal responsibility. You also look forward into a future that is positive. Oh, positive psychologist, I guess now that's where you take the first lane. And it's always good to take time out so that at the end of the day, I do not feel empty because I am helping. So this is what I told you. And I guess as a helper, if we were to ask ourselves the same question, how much and what do I give clients? How do I help my clients? I want the best for them. Do I want the best for myself? I encourage clients. Do I encourage myself? I am always there for other people. When they need me, they need my services. Am I there for myself? Critical questions that you need to ask yourself always. And because I want to just, for the people who are encountering mindful self-compassion for the first time, this is the informal definition that we treat yourself with the same kindness as you would treat a dear friend when things go wrong. Sometimes I do this with teenagers, I do this with adults, I do this with couples. And this question, it's so easy and very fast for somebody to say, if you find a little boy, a little girl crying, a little baby, what would you tell them? What would you do? And people have those answers of embracing and wanting them to feel better. But when it comes to me, it's difficult. And one of the tools or the techniques I use in therapy is to let people close their eyes. And when they do, I
I'm not sure if you're frozen or. I think she's frozen. Huh? We'll just give her time to come back.
And when they come back to the room, I ask them, is it possible to treat yourself with the same kindness? And they start smiling. I've never thought about it. Come to think about it. And I think for helpers, it's a cup pouring out, pouring out. When do you pour in? When do you pour in? And I think that's how we have lost some of the best therapists in the world, because probably they did not know the secret of pouring in on a minute, moment to moment, second to second basis.
Dr. Susan,
So,
we lost you for a bit. I think you were thrown out and you came back, so we don't have the presentation. I'm going to ask the admin, Wangari, to put you as co-host as well, so that you can share again.
okay.
There, your co-host now, you can share.
Let me come back. So I just need to
start sharing again.
That's what I want to do.
Are you able to? You are co-host right now.
Okay. Now I have to look for that presentation again.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I thought then I was talking to myself.
No. Lost you, you froze for a bit, and then you went off, and then you came back and you continued talking as if nothing had happened. And I knew you probably
I didn't even notice, to
didn't
be
know you
very
had been
sincere.
for that. Yeah, but it just happened for like a minute or a minute and a half when you were back.
Okay. And then there you are. Okay. If I don't get it, but I don't know why it's not coming out, and I have it here.
Is it open?
It is open.
Okay.
I think it's okay now.
Yes.
Was it the last slide?
Yes, the informal definition.
Okay. Yes, I was saying that when I ask clients, would they treat themselves with the same kindness, like they smile? Come to think of it, I've never thought about it. And here I am, so quickly offering somebody else help, supporting them, yet when it comes to me, it's kind of difficult. And so that learning to self-care, that learning to be mindful on a moment-to-moment basis, it is actually a journey, such that we do not lose any one of us, because we mean a lot to the world that we support. So I just talked about the threat system, that we are threatened by anything. It could be workload. It could actually be even a conflict. It could be an incompetence. It could be anxiety in therapy. It could actually be coming from even the client. You know, our work, we can meet anybody in that small room. Okay. And so whatever threatens us, we know these two stress hormones are injected into the bloodstream. And we are not immune because we are therapists. We have the same body like any other. And when it comes to the animal kingdom, we have that part of our brain, the survival brain, that tells us, oh, there's danger here. And anything can happen. We can react or respond in a negative way that may actually scare our clients or even scare yourself. So when you look at these two animals, Kara, how are you feeling? Just looking at them.
Warm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then I have Anit, Koi. Or what do you think? I think people are different. We have those who think, we have those who feel.
Comfort.
Anit?
Comfort also.
Comfort. Anybody else? Sister Pauline?
I feel there's a lot of kindness.
Kindness. And what is making you feel that? Is it the babies or even the mothers?
The way the mother, like the lion, the way it has held the child, the cub, and the eyes are closed. It's so intimate and kindness in it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Intimate kindness. There is safety.
Yes, there's safety. Most of us don't even get that.
Even when we go to sleep, we don't actually sleep, We are awake in our sleep, And even the other one, as much as the baby has the eyes wide open, you can see where the hand is. It's like you can feel the stillness. You can feel the calmness. And imagine that is how clients come to us. They come to us with this expectation that this is the way I'm going to feel. And sometimes that's not what we give. Why? We are human. And sometimes we are not in that space to give this. Our oxytocin, endorphins have gone low. Why? Because maybe they have been overtaken by the cortisol and adrenaline. Because we also have our problems that we are battling with in our work, in our own personal lives, in our families, in the larger ecosystem. We are having issues. But the desire is to actually develop a care system. And a care system that begins with me, such that on a moment-to-moment basis, I can easily catch myself. When I am losing the care system and going to the threat system, I'm catching. And this, especially Christine Neff and Chris Gamma, talked about that self-compassion that is full of kindness. But there is one that is called fierce self-compassion, where you find I've given myself too much. I have allowed a lot of pain. I have allowed a lot of probably mistreatment. I have allowed myself to pour and pour and pour and not allowing myself to receive. I am not allowing myself to receive. To receive this kindness, like if you look at the two balances, that yours is down here and the one that you're giving is up here, then there is an imbalance. And sometimes it happens. You're just too kind, too understanding, too empathetic to a fault. And sometimes that is why people like Jewel, I think she wrote, now I am firm with my boundaries. There's nothing wrong with a helper creating boundaries and standing by them. That Christine called fierce self-compassion. Because if I continue allowing negative energy to drain me, to bring me down, am I any better? Even for the people I serve? I am not. And sometimes it's about allowing abuse, whether knowingly or unknowingly. because we have seen these fences. And the recent cases in our country, we have seen cases we are saying, that person should have known better earlier enough and probably run away, quit. We have seen people, and it's very sad that if all of us were told, line up for a medical checkup, you find probably majority are registering very high blood pressures. Many are registering H. pylori, or influx acidity. And that means the body inside is not relaxed. Where people say, I can't do beans, I can't do sukuma wiki, I can't do spinach. Even what we eat cannot be accommodated in this body because the care system has not been mastered. It is not part of our being. And so because the threat system is the one that is taking the day in the life of a helper, then in most cases, there's a lot that is going on. Negative thinking, negative actions, negative interactions. And so the desire is to have a care system that is sustainable. So the formal definition of self-compassion are these three components or concepts. So anytime you hear mindful self-compassion, just know these three words will give you what it is. That in this life, I am suffering in my own way. Sister Pauline is suffering in her own way. Whatever suffering it is suffering. So it is common humanity. So it helps me not to do the I'm the only one who does this. It is only me. It helps you not to have that self-pity that is making you seem like you're the only one who is suffering. And the rest are. And I'm sure some of you are smiling because you can remember probably a long time ago, maybe you're always complaining, something is done, you're complaining, you use a lot of energy complaining, online, complaining verbally, wasting a lot of energy. Sometimes trying to explain your position. Sometimes you are trying to blame. Sometimes you're actually trying to critique and make sure somebody else goes down. And if you're going down, then you must go down with someone else. But it's common humanity. Suffering is to humankind. That's it. And you feel now a sense of belonging. Just like I'm sharing in the context of a helper. We are feeling like, I can identify with that. Because we are in a common space of suffering together. And especially the burnout we experience, the fatigue we experience, the frustrations we experience, disappointments we experience in the work that we do in therapy. And so common humanity makes you feel connected. When you think about kindness, it's what you've seen in those care system pictures of these mother cubs, that in all of us, especially women, and I guess that's why helping professions, we have more women than men. Men work a little bit harder to actually enhance oxytocin in their body system because they have to learn. They have to learn through empathy. They have to learn through practice. They have to learn through self-compassion just to be in that space. And some of them who have mastered it, if you look at them, they could be in this room. They are calm people. It's very difficult you hear them shouting unless they are teaching. You realize most of the time they listen more. You realize most of the time these men seem to be present with you. What you're saying, what you're doing. And so it's an art along the way they master. You might find in the hindsight, they are very powerful meditators. That they have lots of time as silent meditators. They have silent moments to themselves. So for ladies, yes, I'm not saying we cannot learn that. We can, because we do have alpha ladies here. If Wangari is the one in the room, sharing the energy of the alpha women, you find that you also must probably learn like the men do, like give yourself that space, give yourself that silent space, allow yourself to have moments with yourself, and whatever practice you can embrace, you can bet it's going to work if you make it a lifestyle. And that is why those of you who are here, who are able to do yoga and you've joined yoga, you pick there's a difference. Those of you that are here and you have practiced a lot of mindfulness techniques like meditation, you are here. Breathing techniques, relaxation on moment-to-moment basis. You find yourself becoming a very kind person, loving person, because any moment of loving kindness is a moment that also makes you feel you have done something. And in the whole world, that kindness that we spread to the world, people who give kindness, it's not even about money. They rate highest in terms of happiness and inner peace. So you can imagine mindful self-compassion. You're now giving it to yourself. How powerful it is in terms of engineering the kind of a helper who will remain kind for the longest time. Then when you talk about mindfulness, I already told you, just remember presence. And this is how we're going to do it. Just to be aware, let's slowly take a relaxed sitting position. Take a relaxed sitting position. And close your eyes or lower your gaze, whichever makes you comfortable. And you slowly put your right hand over your heart or your chest and try to breathe in normally through the nose and out through the mouth. If you need extra support, you can place the other hand over the right hand and just stay still. I just want you to listen to one thing, your heartbeat. Your heartbeat. But please, if you notice a picture of a child who is bleeding on their forehead, please don't pay attention. Focus to your heart. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your heartbeat. Don't focus on that picture of a child who is heavily bleeding on their forehead. Kindly focus on your heartbeat. And come back to the room slowly. Slowly opening your eyes. Come back. Come back. Come back. So let me hear what you've experienced. And those who can write in the chat, please do. Anybody who has to say? Oh, I see lots of comments there. They are very encouraging. Any comment? How was that experience?
When he says gratitude.
Yes.
Phyllis, you can unmute, Phyllis, and speak.
It just brought me back to myself, and I haven't done that in a while. And when Dr. Susan was just taking us through the exercise, and I said, wow, it is long since I just came back to myself. And that was powerful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Phyllis. Coming back home. Coming back home. Anybody else? Moses from South Africa. Oh, says that so far so good. Thanks very much for the wonderful insight. Unfortunately, I'm currently stagnant, but I'm working on it. The environment I find myself is full of different people, and everyone wants to be seen or heard. Yeah, so people are saying feeling love, safe, caring, fear. Francisca Wamboy, you could tell us more about fear. Are you in? Francisca Wamboy. Are you able to talk? Wamboy. Okay.
There's also career services. I don't know what the name is, but also say felt very scared.
I wish they could talk. That's the only way we can get into their space, eh? Rosemary Mungai. Yeah, and I think Rose, I saw you kitambo. Rose? Security. Scared. When I told you don't focus on that child, a picture of a child with heavy bleeding on their forehead. Can somebody comment on that? Oh, Ugwang Jimmy says, in control of my whole body. Imagine. Daniel talks about feeling relaxed. Okonko, I felt calmness within me. Felt very scared. Career services, would you like to say something? You're saying something that is true, by the way, and I'll explain what that means. Would you like to talk or even write in the chat? The fear, being scared. I remember the first time I did that exercise, I was like, wow, does my heart beat this fast? Yes? Am I lost again?
Dr. Susan.
Thank you. Yes, you can. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I can say something. I can say something.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not really difficult. It is not very easy to be kind to myself. So when I did this exercise, it's at the end of the day. All the fatigue, more than concentrating on the heart beating, actually I was scared because first of all, the heart started beating very fast. The fatigue was coming out. I thought of something that did not work out during the day. I was not calm. And I didn't know what will happen next. As much as I tried to close the eyes, it was difficult. I'm tired because I think there is the issue of what you are talking about, just to love ourselves and to have time out and to avoid, giving without taking care of the real self, considering what you have talked about. The aspect of advance, I think the feelings when we are overwhelmed by something or when we are worried about something, we are not indifferent, even if we are caregivers and we accompany people with the issues that are very, very complicated. And also because I had dealt with something that was very complex today. To an extent, really, I didn't know how. It was a real dilemma how to handle it. Thank you.
I can't see all the names because I put the chat on, but I'm sure, Carol, you can know the name of the speaker. What's her name?
The name there is Career Services. So
Oh, right. Anyway, we call her Career Services, though.
Call her CS.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
name,
CS.
I'm Rose Mwangi.
Oh, Rose. Yes,
Yes, I'm
Rose.
the
Thank you
one.
very much. Having
And I
had a
did
heavy.
and I did mindfulness with you
Oh, the
the first
first day.
time. Yes, the on-site one we did together in
Rose, are
Limuru.
you joining us from the US?
No, I'm in Karen. I'm in Kenya.
All right, yes. Because I know I have trained several groups, and to me, I believe it's practicing. It is connecting, and that's why I'm saying, Carol, and probably the positive psychology. We might be getting moments of retreats. By the way, we do powerful ones because it's powerful for us as helpers. We rarely get that time. To be very honest, becoming intentional is very hard. And especially in this space where we want to meet so many goals in life, we are never having a moment written, this is your break time. And we know most of us are not running on one engagement or one job. We have many engagements. And so you're like, when you're thinking, I'm going to take a break, it's when this other side you are needed. It's not like in developed countries where most therapists just do that. If you find them in a space elsewhere, either they are teaching the same that they practice, or they are actually in a forum to learn. Not like us who have 1,000 jobs and we are expected to continue giving the best. So Sheila says that I feel somewhat sad as I have been going through a lot, and this has made me to come to terms with feelings that have been shelving away. So that made you become aware, and that is what we are calling mindfulness. You living in the present moment, because that's the danger, that you can walk with your burnout, you can walk with your bitterness, your frustrations, your disappointments everywhere. But the day a trigger will come to remind you of exactly what is happening within you, there'll be a floodgate. And in mindful self-compassion, there is one of the warnings that the minute you start becoming aware of yourself, there's a backdraft. It's like this room is burning inside, it's locked. If you open that door, or the pressure cooker, that pressure cooker, if you just lift the lid, what happens? And so it's like a floodgate. So don't worry, don't be afraid, don't run away. For those people who have felt, I think this is a new realization. I didn't have this. I didn't know this. I think Carol and the others who are here when we did mindful self-compassion, hey, some of us were actually breaking down. Some were sleeping completely. Some exercises, I remember one was even snoring because we were in a very silent, serene place. And when we were told that you can just take a position, in fact, we would sit, stand, do whatever makes you comfortable. It was something new for us as helpers. And some of us, to center our thoughts, counselors that we say, oh, counselors are great listeners. It was a challenge. For me, I am telling you for a fact, breathing and holding my breath was the hardest. And I asked myself today, was I ever breathing? Before 2018, was I ever breathing? Because you're always on a roller coaster. And so you don't spend time to go inward and check in and find out, am I calm in the inside? Because if I am calm in the inside, that is what I'm likely to give to the universe. But how often do we check in? How often do we check in? So thank you for those people who said scared. Some of them, it's telling you the child who is bleeding. And so if you found yourself going to thinking about that child, just know you lost the mindfulness. You lost paying attention to what I said. Feel your heartbeat. And it happens in our lives. How many of us say that I'm going to take a break? I am going to do this. Like I almost changed my trip to Rwanda, because every year I go to Rwanda and I take a few people with me, and especially helpers. And I was thinking, oh, we have an event happening this time. Do I extend? Then I'm like, for who? I planned this before this. But you're thinking more of others, not about yourself. And so it is a daily challenge. So I am not telling you it's going to be like spot on like this, because there'll be some incidences whereby you have to compromise. But in most cases, after checking in, those of you who are overgenerous, until you find your pockets run dry because you are over giving. But now with mindfulness, you're like, just wait a minute, hold a minute, I'll give you feedback. Because for helpers, although I see helpers, we have improved Carol and the like, we have improved Nancy Math, we have improved. Because when there was a crisis in this nation, we were always the first one to run, and we were all over. Thank God. Even if we have learned the hard way, we didn't used to do much, by the way, because in most cases we were caught up in spaces whereby even effective debriefing is not what we were actually doing, because most of us were living those spaces with vicarious trauma, vicarious stress, and feeling very exhausted at the end of the day, and probably waiting for a reward, even if it's verbal and nothing. And so these days I'm saying, where did the counselors go? Probably you're doing a lot of self-care. Yeah. Oh, Carol says she slept a lot during that time. By the way, people are sleeping, Carol. That meant that's what your body needed. So if anyone has felt scared, you felt afraid, you have felt more tension, just know that is the communication of your body system right now in this space. If anybody felt like going to the washroom, anybody felt like standing up, just know that is the state. And if you pay more attention, what happens is you're not being mindful to run away. You're not being mindful to fight it. You're just saying, let me learn what's going on. And I guess in my next slide, because of time, you're gonna see why we need to strive to self-care on a daily basis. Because as helpers, there are some good things in mindful self-compassion.
And as you share that, Doc, I just wanted to read what Gio has said here. When you said we don't focus on the bleeding child and concentrate, it reminded me that no matter what or where, there will always be things that are calling for my attention. But at this particular moment, I needed to deliberately think of me.
That's it. So you became intentional. And that's why those of us who fly, you're told before you lower the mask, even for a baby or whoever or anybody else. For the Christians in the house, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. Even for us mothers, for us fathers who are here, for us teachers, mentors, when you don't have it, what do you give? So self-compassion for caregivers. If you practice mindful self-compassion, this is scientifically proven, and I can tell you from my own experience. 2018, when Carol and others were in that mindful self-compassion training, for me, I was giving up. I was giving up as a lecturer in counseling psychology. I was giving up as a therapist. And I was like, what can I do? I think I should go to business. I think I should just go and run my own things, you know. But I did not know I had poured out so much that I had little left for me. So when mindful self-compassion training came to Kenya, I think for me, I say this is God sent, because I would go for personal therapy, I would go for my clinical supervision, I would do the peer supervision, I would do my journal writing. Hey, things were not improving. So that time, Carol, I'm sure you realized I paid. I stayed at Brackenhurst. It was very expensive, but I stayed there because I didn't even want to be at home. So I stayed there. And it's because I was feeling something needs to be done in my life as a helper. And since that time, I think I enjoy therapy more. And when I did that certification, self-compassion in psychotherapy, I want to tell you, if I could add here scientifically, I think my clients, the quality of my therapy practice is become better. And it's my desire and prayer that together with Positive Psychology Family and PPAK, we are going to have a mega. When I say a mega retreat and training of mindful self-compassion early next year, so that we can spread this, especially in our African continent, where a lot of our worries, a lot of our anxieties are actually based on most of the ACs we have. The adverse childhood effects we carry a lot. We do carry a lot. And even if our parents, immediate parents, were good caregivers, maybe they had carried a little bit the intergenerational trauma and baggages brought to us. And then we carry the same and we give the same to our clients. And the best that you can do as a helper is to always have that. Here is the helper, here is the client. And if I'll ever get close to my client, it is for positive reasons. Positive outcome is not for negative outcome. And you even become a better listener. I have realized to become a better listener in therapy with mindful self-compassion training. So there is more compassion in what you do. You're no longer complaining, oh, that client, oh, because we've seen that. I remember one of my colleague therapists telling me she was handling a case, and then the husband to this lady said, I want to come where you go. And when he came in, he said, by the way, how qualified are you? What competencies do you have? You know, we do have those clients who ask questions like those. If you do not have that self-compassion and you're already thinking this person thinks I'm so small, what are you going to do, Carol? You fight back. And when you fight back, you've lost it because you're a helper. So this lady, I remember sharing, she did it so candidly. She said, I told him, in your house, you are the authority, you are the ruler. But here in my therapy room, I'm the one who is saying, and by the way, man, get the hell out of here. You've lost it. You've lost it. You've lost it. Because these people are coming to you for help. You've lost it. You've lost it. And when you look at it inwardly, it was not about them. It was about what you thought. It is about what you had internalized for a long time. And it is the one that came out. And so checking in, mindful self-compassion is just a checking in tool on a moment-to-moment basis. There is also greater resilience, such that with burnout, with frustrations, discouragement, disappointments, bitterness, whatever it is that can bring you down as a helper, every day you're stronger. Every day you're more resilient. And of course, less sleep disturbance. If you ever lose your sleep disturbance, probably depending on what you believe in the spiritual realm, it could be your fighting energies that are beyond the physical realm. If we are talking about the normal way of living, we know when you are highly stressed, that cortisol in that body, definitely it has some neuro damage. And so the coordination of hormones, communication, it's time to sleep, is dysregulated. And you find yourself losing sleep. And so the following day, you cannot be a better helper for anyone. And those of you who like sleep like me, when you lose your sleep, you don't feel nice. So as I wind up, so that you may have a question or two, it's 5 minutes till. I would like to let you know that mindful self-compassion, what I've just given you is it's just like introduction. And so if we can be able to put this training together, Carol, because it happens even online now that there are virtual retreats, not like the one we did physical. Before we do the physical one, the big time one next year, early next year, we can find ourselves doing the 8-week program. It doesn't have to be 8 weeks. This can be consolidated into 4 days, like what we did with Carol, or even 3. And it can be blended, you know. And if we can do this, we want to keep more of you helpers in the house. We want to remain and help better. We do not want to lose our space. And I know 7:30 was the time, but if you don't mind, for 5 minutes, you can sit upright. You can sit upright. You can lower your gaze if that feels better for you, or you can close your eyes if that is the best that you can. And in that space, I would like for you to just take a deep breath, slowly and deeply, through the nostril. Breathe in, hold your breath, and release it through the mouth. Breathe in again, slowly and deeply, through the nostril. Breathe in, hold it, and out through the mouth. Slowly again, breathing in, and hold it, and out through the mouth. This one is called meeting with your compassionate friend. It's just an exercise that I'd like you to choose an environment from your mind that feels most comfortable, quiet, peaceful, very inviting. It's like when you go to this place, whether it's an imaginary one or one you have ever been to, you feel so good, so peaceful. There's some inner joy that you cannot explain. Once you arrive there, you're very intentional, because today you have learned to do a lot of self-care. While you're seated there, or standing there, or walking, you see this compassionate friend. Could be a human being, could be a pet, whatever it is. Could be a creature approaching you from a distance. suddenly inside of you feel happy, inner joy. You feel energized. And as they get close to you, and you're getting closer to them, if you're walking, you're feeling the world lighting up. And when you meet, it's quite an encounter. You feel whole. You feel understood. You feel accepted. You feel free to be you. It's a world full of happiness, full of motivation. It's a world full of joy, being in the company of this compassionate friend. You are enjoying every moment. You wish it could last forever, but it can't be forever. Your compassionate friend assures you they will always be there when you need them, when you call on them. They are assuring you they are always there. They've always been there. They have known you since the day you took your first breath of life. They have been there. Only that you did not know. They were so, so close. Closer than you can ever or have ever imagined. They're like a twin. Identical twin for that matter. They know your weaknesses. They know your strengths. They know what threatens you. But they are so loyal. They just accept you the way you are. And it fills you with so much joy and a sense of safety and satisfaction. This friend knows you can't be in this state forever, but they are always a call away. And so they want to leave you now, but they want to leave you with a gift. And they're handing you over this gift. Wow. It's a gift like no other gift. You receive it with lots of gratitude. You're happy that you knew them. You're happy to have spent time together. And even as they say goodbye to you, you're not worried. They have assured you you can always call on them. And as they walk away, fading away, the only precious thing they've left you is a gift, a memory of your closeness, a memory of your togetherness, a memory of amazing kindness. And as you slowly come to the close of this session, as you feel like you want to take a breath of life, it's okay to breathe in and it's okay to breathe out. And slowly invite yourself back to the room as you open your eyes, Lord, and slowly come back. Come back. So with all your honesty, who is that compassionate friend that you saw, that joined you? Who is that? Or what was that? What did you see? You can write in the chat. Who is that compassionate friend that you saw? You can talk, you can write. Yes, Jesus, Ruth saw Jesus. Wow. And I wonder what gift Jesus left you, Ruth. Anybody else? Prudence saw myself, Mwangi. And what gift did you give yourself? And no more could be writing and typing. I saw the woman I always aspired to be. Wow. That is scary, Eunice. So Prudence you gave yourself so much compassion and love. Wow. Regina is my compassionate friend. She gave me love. And some people even see their pets. Some people see they see the late loved ones, whoever it is. And as you journey in mindful self-compassion, as you continue journeying, day by day, day, you realize the people you saw, if it was not yourself, there is that which they have that they give you or they used to give you. And a memory and a reminder, you can always give it to yourself. So those of you who have reached that level of, I saw me, I saw myself, you've really walked that journey. Because for sure, nobody knows you like you do. Nobody feels you like you do. But it has to begin somewhere. We learn. We learn from our models. We learn from our caregivers. We learn from our mentors. We learn. Coaches. We learn. Helpers. We learn from them. And so there are those qualities that can always be brought back home. Thank you very much. Oh, Phyllis, I saw the kindness I grew up with and have since lost it in the busyness. Wow. Grab it back, Phyllis. Grab it back. Sister Joyce, myself, very consoling kindness. And Omar, the person was inner, compassionate self. And I gave myself hope and love. That's the gift. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and Gio, I saw the one who loves me most, Christ, and I felt the love and embrace of self through him. And because we don't see Christ physically, it's that spiritual embodiment of Christ. And finally, that we will be like Christ, we'll be like him, And so you find yourself, those who enjoy Christianity and the work of Christianity, we strive every day to be like Jesus. And you find he was the most compassionate human being that ever lived. I always say he's the hero of compassion. And those of us who really strive to walk like Christ, if you hear whatever faith you ascribe to, that faith leader that you follow, you realize that they really had a lot of compassion. But today, because I'm talking about you as a helper, bring it in, bring it here, so that it can go to the world. And Carol remembers we used to say, one piece for me, one piece for you. Kindness for me, kindness for you. love for me, love for you. And so everything that is good with me, then I know I can give it to the world. Thank you very much, and God bless you for the opportunity to be together this evening. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daktari. You just brought so much back to base for me. It just, I think learning never ends. This stuff never gets familiar. And it's so refreshing to be able to draw from you who's embodied it for years and you're training it and everything. So just for this 1 hour we have experienced you. Thank you. One for us and one for you as well. Thank you so very much. I think there's a lot of just go through the comment section, a lot of people just giving you gratitude for the session. And I think that we can have more conversations around how that course can happen as we collaborate, even as organizations. Someone had raised their hand. I would want, because it's already 7:12, if you feel that you need to leave, just feel free to leave. We can be here for another 2-3 minutes to just address any other questions. But thank you so much. And thank you everyone for your engagement, for answering the questions, for listening in, and for just engaging all around. Asanteni sana. There is an announcement here, like I would like to read it from Father Selvam. Our next PPAK webinar is on August 27th, same time, same link. The link you used is usually the same. In September, we'll have a speaker from the UK, and we have slots available for speakers in October and November webinars. You can reach out to volunteer. And then we are advertising for character coaches training, which is 22nd to 24th August. Limited spaces are available. Asanteni sana, God bless you. Again, we cannot thank you enough, Dr. Susan, and every participant who was here. We have come to the end of our webinar, and see you in August. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Kwaherini.
Thank you.
Kwaheri,
Thank
kwaheri.
you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Dr.
Bye-bye.
Susan.
Feel free
Bye.
to turn on your video. Usually we like to say
Bye.
this time, and if
Yeah.
you raise your hand so that we can see your
Mm.
face. Thank you, everyone.
Sister Pauline.
Good to see you. Regina.
Mm.
Sawa sawa. Nwangari, you can end the YouTube so that we
Thank
can
you very much. Thank you. God bless you.